Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we're focusing on something pretty significant, a major strategic shift happening within global military thinking.
That's right.
We're going deep into how one particular regional power is looking at future warfare, really analyzing how a traditional military is trying to completely reinvent itself as a digital era power.
Yeah, and the basis for our discussion today comes largely from looking at the ideas in a specific book, Pakistan's Digital Army, AI and Future Warfare by Zaheer Ahmad Meer.
Okay.
And this isn't just about, small upgrades. It's presented as a fundamental shift, a revolution in defense thinking, both ideologically and operationally.
Right. Let's jump straight into that then, because the starting point, the core idea driving this vision, it's pretty dramatic. It sets the stakes incredibly high. The idea is that future conflicts won't be primarily about tanks and jets anymore. Instead, they'll be fought with algorithms, with satellites, drones, and crucially, artificial intelligence. It's basically saying the whole battlefield has moved online into the digital space, irrevocably.
Exactly. And our job here, our mission for this deep dive, is to break down what that actually means strategically. What are the pillars of this change?
Okay.
The goal they state is achieving digital fortress status. But, what does that translate to on the ground? What kind of tech, what capabilities, what changes inside the military do you actually need to claim that competitive edge everyone wants now?
Yeah, we need to look beyond the buzzwords.
Precisely. Get into the mechanics of it.
Because it sounds like this isn't just about keeping up with the Joneses, militarily speaking. It's about trying to position the military and maybe the whole country as a leader in this new digital age.
That seems to be the ambition, yes.
Okay, so let's start with the first major theme, the driving force behind all this change. They call it the adaptive imperative. So the feeling driving this whole thing, according to the source material, is one of real urgency. It's framed less like, oh, future wars might be digital someday, and more like, this is happening now, and we need to meet this challenge immediately to protect ourselves. It's presented as essential for sovereignty.
Yeah, not just a nice-to-have upgrade.
Yeah.
An operational must.
Exactly.
And that urgency comes directly from how the battlefield itself is changing. The old ideas of defensive lines, physical borders.
Yeah.
They're becoming less relevant.
How so?
Well, the new landscape, it's defined by things like algorithms, drones, satellites, AI. These give you the tactical advantage. If someone can block your data or mess with your real-time intel.
Then it doesn't matter how many tanks you have on the ground.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Your ground forces become much less effective, almost blind.
Yeah.
It's a total shift from, say, wars of attrition based on numbers to wars based on who controls the information, information dominance.
Okay, and to really get a sense of how big this shift is, the source gives this striking historical comparison. It takes us back to the beginning, 1947, when the Army was first established. Back then, command and control, coordination, it all depended on the absolute basics.
Radios, physical maps, that was it.
Just think about operating like that for a second.
Yeah, the difference is huge. In 47, your intelligence came from people physically scouting, maybe taking hours or days to report back. Communication was basic radio, probably short range, easily interested. And you're plotting everything on paper maps. Your whole decision-making cycle is slow. You can only really maneuver based on physical presence.
And contrast that sort of low bandwidth world with what's needed today.
Totally different ballgame.
Modern operations, they need secure, high-speed networks constantly running. They need satellites coordinating things in real time for precision. And intelligence gathering, that's now driven by AI doing predictive analysis.
And that shift isn't just about having the tech. It's about the institution being able to handle massive amounts of data instantly. You're going from maybe a few important pieces of info per hour to potentially millions per second. Sensor data, drone feeds, communications.
Wow.
So you need incredibly resilient networks, heavily encrypted, that can handle all that traffic without crashing or getting hacked. It's like completely rebuilding the Army's nervous system.
So if we boil this down, the main point is adaptation isn't just a good idea, it's survival.
Absolutely.
Success means mastering whatever the key tools of the time are. But that makes me wonder, how does a huge organization, one that's probably quite hierarchical and traditional, actually do that? How do they manage constant, fast technological change?
Well, it takes a fundamental shift in thinking. You have to see technology not just as equipment you buy off the shelf, but as something you need to be good at internally, a core skill.
Like engineering or strategy.
Exactly, and that means pouring resources into training. You're not just training soldiers to shoot straight anymore. You need systems engineers, network defenders, data analysts. It means budgeting for tech that becomes obsolete quickly. And, crucially, you have to build AI and digital skills into every level of military education, from the newest recruit right up to the top generals.
So it really transforms the Army. It's not just a physical force anymore, but this complex, interconnected system.
A system of systems, yeah.
And the speed at which it processes information dictates whether it wins or loses.
That's the idea.
Okay, so if adaptation is survival, and that survival depends on this complex digital nervous system, the next logical step has to be protecting it, right?
Absolutely. Which brings us neatly to the concept they call the digital shield.
Right, so this transition makes perfect sense. If everything relies on these networks, keeping them safe is job number one.
It has to be.
And the source material is really clear about the risks. Cyber attacks aren't just a nuisance, they can genuinely cripple things.
Oh, definitely. They can shut down economies, financial systems, air traffic control.
And military operations too, presumably.
Absolutely. Imagine jamming communications for units on the front line or corrupting targeting data. It could be catastrophic.
So given that huge vulnerability, what's the response outlined in this strategic vision?
Well, it talks about setting up dedicated cyber commands. Real established parts of the military structure focus solely on this.
Okay.
And deploying AI-based systems for monitoring threats. This isn't just about putting up firewalls. A dedicated command implies actively hunting for threats, maybe even launching counter-operations to disrupt attacks before they happen, protecting national infrastructure.
So cyber defense is being treated like, say, the Air Force or the Navy, a major branch in its own right.
That's the implication. It's a recognition that things like power grids, banks, supply chains, they're all potential targets in modern conflict now. They're part of the battlefield.
Okay, let's get specific then. What exactly does the source say they're trying to counter with this digital shield?
It outlines a pretty wide range of threats. You've got this standard stuff like the state-level cyber intrusions, sophisticated hacking attempts aiming to steal secrets or disrupt systems.
Right, the kind of thing we hear about in the news.
Exactly. But then it also details efforts against two other kinds of warfare, which are more about perception and information.
Which are?
Disinformation campaigns. And interestingly, it specifically mentions countering hostile tweets.
Hostile tweets. That detail jumps out. Why would a military need to dedicate resources to something like Twitter battles? It sounds almost trivial compared to cyber attacks.
Well, it signifies that they see the information space, the psychological domain, as a genuine part of the modern battle space. Because think about it, perception is power today.
How so?
A well-run disinformation campaign, spread quickly on social media, maybe using bots, maybe targeted messaging can really damage things. It can undermine public support for the military, wreck morale internally, even stir up protests or civil unrest.
So a tweet isn't just noise, it can be a weapon.
A precision-guided ideological weapon, you could say. And countering that isn't just about blocking websites. It means having teams ready to debunk fake news quickly, push out accurate information, and manage the narrative, all at the speed of social media.
Wow. So they're fighting on two fronts, protecting their networks from hackers and protecting minds from hostile information.
It's a 360-degree defense challenge.
Yeah. And the overall goal of this, the big claim for this digital shield strategy.
It's huge. The stated goal is to make Pakistan's digital borders as secure as its physical ones. That's basically the definition of becoming that digital fortress they're aiming for.
Okay, but how realistic is that?
Yeah.
Making digital borders as secure as physical ones, that sounds incredibly difficult.
It's a massive challenge,
A
absolutely.
physical border is, mostly fixed. You can see it, put guards on it.
Right.
But a digital border, it's everywhere and nowhere. Every phone, every server, every connection point is a potential way in. It's constantly shifting.
Exactly. The sheer resources needed to get anywhere close to, say, 99% security in that kind of environment are immense. You can't rely on humans watching screens anymore.
So you need AI for defense, too.
You have to. You need systems that can spot tiny anomalies across vast amounts of data, patterns that humans would miss. That means sophisticated machine learning, AI algorithms that are constantly learning new ways attackers might try to get in.
Which implies a huge ongoing investment.
Massive, not just in buying tech, but in developing it locally, training thousands of specialists just to maintain this digital wall, because the threats are constantly evolving.
Yeah, the attacker could be anywhere, using automated tools. The defense has to be just as fast, just as automated.
It's a continuous arms race, but in the digital domain.
Uh-huh.
Committing to secure digital borders like physical ones means committing to perpetually out-innovate and outspend the threats.
Okay, so if the digital shield is the secure nervous system, then things like robotics and drones, they're the modern eyes and limbs, right?
That's a good way to put it, yeah.
This section is about the actual hardware on the battlefield, the shift towards mechanized conflict and precision strikes. The strategy confirms Pakistan is seriously getting into drone and robotic warfare.
And that's a key trend globally, isn't it? Military modernization everywhere is heading this way. The vision here really emphasizes using these technologies for two main things.
Which are?
Surveillance drones getting eyes in the sky for intelligence, and precision-guided strikes hitting specific targets accurately.
Let's unpack the benefits there. Surveillance drones, the ISR platforms,
Yeah.
they give commanders constant eyes on the situation, right? Without risking pilots.
Exactly. Persistent, high-resolution, real-time video feeds, it completely changes how you make decisions. You're not waiting for scout reports, you're seeing it live. Reduces the fog of war.
And precision strikes, that's about being more effective with less.
Yeah, it's the opposite of old-school carpet bombing or massive artillery barrages. Instead of just saturating an area, you use advanced sensors and network guidance to make sure one weapon hits exactly what it needs to hit.
Less waste, less collateral damage, hopefully.
That's the aim. Maximize the effect, minimize the resources used, and the risks involved.
Now, the source frames the benefits of this automation very deliberately. It lists 3 key outcomes.
Yeah.
Saving lives, reducing collateral damage, and amplifying strength.
The saving lives and reducing collateral damage points are important. They touch on the ethical side and also the diplomatic side of modern warfare.
How so?
Well, using robots or drones for really dangerous jobs like clearing minefields, scouting heavily defended areas, maybe going into contaminated zones means you're not risking your soldiers' lives.
Okay.
And in theory, better targeting accuracy from precision weapons should mean fewer civilian casualties, which helps align with international law.
Right, that makes sense. And the third benefit, amplifying strength. What does that look like in practice? How does tech make a smaller force stronger?
It means a relatively small unit, if it's highly connected and equipped with this tech, can achieve what used to require a much larger force. Imagine a commander directing multiple armed drones and maybe some ground robots, all feeding data back, all capable of precise actions. The physical number of soldiers might be small, but their reach and impact are magnified.
So faster deployment, more flexibility?
Exactly. You can use your human soldiers for the tasks that really need human judgment or creativity, while the machines handle some of the more dangerous or data-intensive tasks.
And this vision, this operational concept, it leads directly to this quote from the source, this image they want us to grasp. Tomorrow's soldier will fight side by side with machines.
Yeah, and that implies more than just remote control. It suggests a really deep integration.
Meaning?
The future soldier isn't just someone who flies a drone with a joystick. They're more like a systems manager, overseeing multiple autonomous or semi-autonomous machines, integrating the data they provide, coordinating their actions within the mission plan.
So troops on the ground managing complex C4ISR systems, that's quite a leap.
It is. The human is still making the critical decisions, but they're doing it based on information fused together from all these different platforms, both human and machine.
But for that to work, you need 2 things absolutely locked down, don't you?
Definitely.
First, that network security we talked about, the digital shield has to hold.
Absolutely critical. If the links go down, the machines are useless.
And second, you need something smart enough to manage all the information pouring in from these machines. If the robots are the limbs, you need a brain.
Exactly. Which brings us to the real core of the digital army concept, artificial intelligence.
Okay, so this is where it gets really futuristic, where the name digital army feels most earned. AI isn't just for defense and cyberspace anymore. It's moving right into the heart of strategy and operations.
That's right. This is about using AI to fundamentally change how military strategy is made and how operations are run. Much faster, much more data-driven.
According to the analysis, it's being integrated in 2 main ways in the war room, correct? The first being advanced decision support.
Yes. Using AI to help commanders make better, faster decisions.
Let's dig into that. The source mentions predictive analytics being used to track enemy moves. How is AI doing that differently or better than traditional intelligence work? What makes it a game changer?
Well, traditional intelligence, signals intelligence, human spies, satellite photos, it often involves human analysts trying to piece together clues after the fact. It can be slow, sometimes reactive.
Yeah.
Predictive analytics using AI flips that. These AI systems can ingest absolutely vast amounts of different kinds of data simultaneously.
Like what kind of data?
Everything. Historical battle patterns, weather forecasts, terrain analysis, supply chain information, satellite imagery, even public sentiment analysis from social media or news reports.
And it connects all those dots.
At machine speed, it finds correlations and patterns that a human team could never spot in time. So instead of just telling a commander where the enemy was yesterday.
The AI predicts where they're likely to be tomorrow, or what they might do next.
Exactly. It generates probabilities, like based on fuel consumption patterns and recent troop movements, there's a 70% chance the enemy will attempt a flanking maneuver through Valley X within the next 12 hours.
Wow. That allows you to be proactive, not reactive.
Precisely. It dramatically speeds up the decision cycle.
Right.
If you can consistently anticipate your opponent's moves and position your forces accordingly, you gain a massive strategic advantage. That's often called getting inside the enemy's decision loop.
And that's seen as key to winning in modern warfare.
Absolutely.
Okay, what's the second main area where AI is being deployed strategically? You mentioned operational AI for logistics.
Yes, smart logistics. It might not sound as exciting as predicting enemy attacks, but logistics, getting the right stuff to the right place at the right time, is absolutely critical. Armies run on supplies.
It's often said amateurs talk tactics, professionals talk logistics.
That's true. And historically, logistics has been a huge, complex, often inefficient process. AI aims to change that by making logistics dynamic and predictive. Instead of just reacting to requests for fuel or ammo, AI algorithms constantly analyze consumption rates, predict future needs, monitor the status of supply convoys, and optimize routes in real time.
So it could predict, say, when a certain type of spare part is likely to be needed based on vehicle usage data?
Exactly. Predictive maintenance is a big part of it. Or it could automatically reroute a supply truck if it detects unexpected enemy activity or a washed-out road ahead, calculating the next best route instantly. It matches supply to demand much more precisely.
So rather than someone manually tracking spreadsheets,
You have an AI system anticipating needs. For example, it might forecast that a unit in a specific area will need winter gear by a certain date based on long-range weather models and automatically trigger the supply chain process.
that must make a huge difference in keeping operations running smoothly.
Huge. Every delay in logistics, a truck stuck in mud, waiting for fuel, is a vulnerability. Streamlining it with AI reduces those weak points and helps maintain operational tempo, especially during intense fighting.
Now, the source brings up a really important point here, a kind of philosophical stance on using AI. It says AI is there to empower commanders, not replace them.
Yes, this is crucial. It defines the intended relationship between the human and the machine.
What's the significance of that distinction?
It acknowledges the strengths and weaknesses of both. Machines are brilliant at processing data incredibly fast, finding patterns, running calculations, but they lack real understanding, common sense, ethical judgment, the ability to handle completely unexpected situations that things humans bring.
So the human is still firmly in charge.
The human commander retains ultimate authority and responsibility. The AI provides recommendations, options, predictions, but the human makes a final call, applying wisdom, experience, and ethical considerations that the AI can't replicate.
And the source actually defines this combination, the fusion of human wisdom with machine speed, as being Pakistan's specific competitive edge.
That's the claim.
How does that work in practice? Balancing human wisdom with the need for speed in modern war.
It means you need commanders who are not only tech-savvy enough to understand what the AI is telling them, but also confident enough to question it or even override it when necessary.
So trusting the data, but not blindly.
Exactly. The AI might suggest the mathematically most efficient way to achieve an objective, but the human commander might see unacceptable political fallout or ethical risks involved and choose a different path. The real edge isn't just having the AI. It's having the people trained to use it wisely under pressure. The vision specifically seems to reject fully autonomous weapons making lethal decisions without a human in the loop.
And making such a huge, expensive, and complex transformation happen across an entire military, that requires strong leadership from the very top, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Inertia is powerful in large organizations. The source puts a lot of emphasis on the role of Field Marshal Asim Munir as the driving force, the champion of this whole digital army concept.
Why is his role highlighted so much?
Because without that kind of top-level vision and sustained commitment, big changes like this often fizzle out. His leadership seems key to pushing this integration agenda, especially across areas that aren't traditionally military.
Like what?
Well, the source mentions his vision, including things like blockchain security, which makes sense for securing digital records and communications. But it also mentions, quite surprisingly, AI-driven green Pakistan.
AI for environmental strategy. How does that fit into a military vision?
It's fascinating, isn't it? It suggests a very broad view of national security, using AI not just for fighting, but for national resilience.
Meaning?
Things like using AI to optimize water resource management, predict floods or droughts linked to climate change, improve crop yields. These all contribute to the long-term stability and strength of the country. It positions AI as a tool for overall national development and well-being, which indirectly supports military strength, too.
So the vision extends beyond the barracks.
It seems so. It paints a picture where military modernization driven by AI is intertwined with broader national technological advancement.
And bringing all that together, the secure networks, the drones, the AI strategy, the logistics, even the environmental aspect, the overall conclusion presented is that Munir's leadership aims to reposition Pakistan.
Right. Not just as a strong regional military in the traditional sense.
So specifically as a digital era power.
Exactly. It's a deliberate attempt to leverage technological mastery as a new source of national power and influence, potentially allowing them to punch above their weight geopolitically or economically. The military is cast as the engine driving this national tech transformation. Hashtag outro.
Well, this deep dive has certainly covered a lot of ground. We've traced this ambitious strategic path, really, from relying on radios and paper maps back in 1947, all the way to today's vision of mastering AI for complex logistics, for predictive intelligence, for robotics, and building these incredibly complex cyber defenses.
Yeah, we've looked at the huge challenges involved, like trying to make digital borders truly secure, dealing with information warfare right down to hostile tweets.
Right.
And this really interesting philosophical point about blending human decision-making with machine speed. The sheer scale of investment and the changes needed in training and doctrine are just immense.
And running through it all is this core idea, this central message from the analysis, that future conflicts won't be won by brute force or sheer numbers.
No.
They'll be won by knowledge. Or, more accurately, by processing knowledge and acting on it faster and better than your opponent.
That combination, predictive insights from AI, guided by human wisdom, executed at machine speed, that's what the strategic vision presents as their unique advantage. It's a powerful concept, blending defense modernization with a real focus on national tech capability.
So as we wrap up, we want to leave you, our listener, with the really big overarching claim that underpins this whole strategic document. The question to think about for you to research further is this massive AI-focused transformation enough? Is it enough to actually achieve the ultimate vision stated in the source material for Pakistan to become the digital fortress of Islam?
And even more boldly, the next world superpower.
That's the destination this map leads to, according to the source.
It is. It's a future built on the belief that technological prowess, discipline, and institutional focus can overcome maybe traditional geopolitical limitations. Success, in this view, isn't measured just by territory or tanks anymore.
It's measured by the speed, the security, the sophistication of your digital backbone.
Exactly. Can mastering technology truly reshape a nation's destiny on the world stage? That's the fundamental question hanging over this entire digital strategy, and only time will tell if it can be answered.